All right. Hey, guys, I'm going to follow up on David's Monday's leadership call that we were on, or several of us were on, and just talk about some referral sources in the marketplace. Again, my name is Wade Cordell. I am the funding director here with Bank Breezy, and what I want to do is give you guys some more ideas of how you can really go out and increase the number of applications that you got coming in. And then, of course, I'm going to take any kind of questions that you might have at the end. But one of the top challenges for funding agents is getting in front of enough folks. And one of the things that David came back from his meeting last week with a bunch of professionals was he was in several meetings where they emphasized in business marketing to find referral sources, and really what we're talking about is a brand advocate, or that's the same as a referral source, and it's anyone who elevates your brand through word of mouth. They share about the company to their networks and conversations and social media, email, text, and that sort of thing. And what I've done is I put a list of some referral source advocates that don't cost you any of your commission, and you can go out and you can talk to these folks, and most of the time they want to help the client base that they have. Number one, I've got influencers. They're the most professionalized group of advocates that you can probably find out there. You can approach those experts organically through your personal network, reaching out with a partnership or even a marketing proposal if you wanted to bring them in as a broker. But influencers, if they're influencing in the business sector, they are really, really big when it comes to the funding side. CPAs and accounting firms, I know that if you'll go out and instead of trying to do this on a national basis, just start local and then go from town to town and county to county in your area, and you can pick up probably a couple of CPAs or accounting firms that are working with small business people, and they always see a need that small business person has on the funding side. And a lot of times, many times, our top producers for any particular season, they become the top producer by getting leads from the CPA or accounting firms, and most of the time they're not even interested in being a broker or an agent, but they're wanting to help their clients. Now, I have an accounting firm that is a broker and that doesn't mind making money, and they're really looking out for their clients as well. Any kind of payment processing sales teams out there, there's a lot of those. Matter of fact, in the building that I'm in right now, there's two of them, and they did not even call on the people in this building. I was able to get a national pizza group on merchant services through our cash discount dual pricing program, and they had never called on them. So, but I'm having conversations with one of them right now about getting us some leads in the funding side. Another is property and casualty insurance agencies, and I say property and casualty because they are really a big amount of their customer base are going to be commercial accounts like restaurants, the people that we're going after. Number five are printers. Do you know that most of the printers in your area probably print for businesses versus individuals? And so they're going to be able to help you in that context, and maybe they might even want to be able to get a little bit of override off of all those. So in that case, you can make them agents. Then there are restaurant equipment sales companies. There's one probably not even 5 miles from me, and I've never even thought about it until this weekend after talking with David about calling on them, because they serve nothing but restaurants. That's where the restaurant will come in. They'll make purchases of food and different well, not really food, but because they do food services companies for that, but any kind of equipment that the restaurant uses. Ad agencies, they pretty much serve the business community only. Community banks guys, I would never, ever, ever tell you to go out on a national bank and go in there and try to talk to them. But you can set appointments with your local community banks. These people are real open to help the community. They get a lot of turn downs. These people don't like it when they have to turn people down, but 80% of them are going to be turned down. And they can refer you. I know we have one rep, Cheryl, that her and I are going to be on tomorrow with a bank that's got 240 locations. It's a regional bank, and that bank and us are going to talk about a referral program that we can put in place. How about your local finance companies? Talk about a mutual referral program. This is great because they're a lot of the people they are dealing with are individuals that actually own small businesses, and they could maybe put a little sign up in their offices, especially the smaller finance companies. Some of the larger ones may not, but a lot of the smaller ones will. And then you got anybody that is working hard on SBA type lending groups. So these people, there's a lot of people that do SBA lending, but they don't do what we do for the small business person. This could be a really good mutual referral program that you could put in place. I will tell you though, the number one best place to get a lead is through your warm market. That's why you want to keep recruiting. If you keep putting on new and exciting people that want to do this business, and they're going to always have a warm market. So we got all these 11 different places I just told you that could be referral networks that won't cost you anything. And then of course we've got your best lead, which is your warm market. And then of course the entire meet, greet, and inform program. Someone contacted me earlier this morning and asked me to go over these activities, as well as talking again to folks in the Lowe's parking lot, or all these wraps. So I'm gonna go over this very quickly, but these are 5 things that I don't know if you're doing daily, but if you're not, and if you're new here, you certainly need to do this on a daily basis. Text messaging, emailing, social media, phone calls, and connect cards, meet, greet, and inform. If you're doing some of all of these every day, then you're in the funding business. And I'm working on some ways to really get us even more leads that don't cost money, because these leads that you're buying that are expensive, just remember they've been sold to 30 other people, and it's just, I don't care what they tell you, and it's just mostly people that have already had funding in the past, and that are just going everywhere they can to get funding. Again, chambers of commerce, BNI, home builders associations, restaurant and trucking associations. These are all places that you probably want to be a member. And David and I were talking, he said, and we were saying, hey, we're members of some of these and we don't go to them religiously. So we need to redo our schedule and our thinking and start showing up for these chamber events, for the BNI meetings. And I'm telling you that BNI, it's almost impossible not to get a lead every month if you're a member of that. They make you work and they make you share leads. And of course, the Home Builders Association, as far as I'm concerned, is the best of any of these, because it makes you a member of not only the local one, but the state and national one, and I'm telling you, the members work with other members in these situations. I want to talk about Valpak prospecting. That is an easy meet, greet, and inform, just like using your telephone and taking pictures, like Quality Roofing Truck that's got a beautiful wrap. And the person asked me, are we allowed to call these numbers? If they post these numbers on their wraps, and they all do, then that's open season. Anybody can call. You don't have to worry about being on the do not call list, but if they've got them posted, you call them up, and basically after you take the picture, you're going to say something, whether it's a wrap or whether you're calling them in reference to a Valpak. You're going to basically say, hey, listen, I just saw your ad, whether it's a wrap or a Valpak, and man, this is a great, beautiful ad. And I just wondered, I know you're in the roofing business, but do you how far do you work in the Greenville area, especially after the storms came through? I got a lot of friends that might need you. Do you go down as far as Clinton, South Carolina? Do you go to Spartanburg and over to Easley? Or do you pretty much work just the Greenville area and you have a conversation? And then after that conversation that you have, you basically say, well, listen, I don't need you now, but if it's okay with you, I'm going to sit and I'm going to pass this Valpak ad on to a couple of my friends. And oh, by the way, just so you know who I am, my name is Wade. I am the funding director for David Allen Capital for this particular area. And we love to help small businesses with ideas they have. Maybe you need equipment or inventory for a job that you got. And the banks, they're just not giving anybody any funding these days. About 80% of the people that walk in are not going to be able to get funding unless they got great collateral, perfect credit. But we're not really worried so much about the credit side of things. We're looking at revenue-based funding. So if you ever have a great idea, keep us in mind. If you don't mind, I'm going to text you the information to this number if that's a cell phone on your wrap, or if you give me an email right quick, I'll email it to you. It's really that simple to do. And I encourage folks that whether you're doing that by riding down the road or going to a Lowe's or a Home Depot parking lot, you got to follow through. You can't just take the picture and text. You got to call them. You got to engage them and have a conversation. And as Matt says a lot when he gets on this call, you want to be. You want to gather as much information about them and find out, if you can, as deep as you possibly can, whether they have good revenues or do they need funding every once in a while. Every one of these businesses are going to need funding, folks. But if you don't take the first step with your phone or through Valpak or through just Yellow Pages with ads, they're asking you to call them. So why not do the meet, greet, and inform with them? And again, in case you're new here, the 10 best industries that we work with. Number one is construction, which includes plumbers, electrician, pavers, home builders. The list goes on. Restaurants are really good. And what I'm finding is it's just hard for a restaurant, especially one that's less than 20 years old, to really go out and get the kind of funding that they need. Anything retail, whether it's brick and mortar or e-commerce, is great. Anything in the medical profession, there's a couple of them here that don't have gatekeepers, like home health care and such. I would really go through and try to find as many home health care. These are people that work out of their home. They may have an office where they go into every once in a while, but they hire a lot of folks to go out and help the elderly or people that maybe just need a little bit of help. They because they broke their leg severely and they just need home health care, someone to come by and help them. Then you got manufacturing, grocery stores, landscaping, nail and beauty salons are just big, and they're happening all over the place as far as fundings are concerned. So this is pretty much everything for us, and I'm going to stop sharing now. And if anyone has any question about what I just talked about or anything to do with funding, I am here and I'm ready to answer your question.
All right, Wade. Well, we've got Matt DeHame. He's got his hand up. Matt, you can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Good morning, Mr. Cordell, and everyone here.
Hey, Matt. Hey.
So you mentioned me, and I figured I better jump in and add to my 2 cents, but it's for everybody's benefit. Okay, and I sent an email out to my entire downline on Saturday evening, because Saturday was the day that I decided to do what I used to do, which is call businesses. These trucks, these photos of these trucks that I had taken at the Home Depot Lowe's parking lot, you had alluded to, guys, let's say guys and gals, 35% of all of my clients, and I've got a lot of them, 35% of them originated from a call I made on Saturday. I did the research, I did my own numbers, and I came up with it, and I figured about a third or more. Why is that? Number one, Their defenses are down. They're thinking about their business. They're more relaxed. They're in the right frame of mind to talk to you. They're not hurried. They're not worried about projects. And back to the truck. You got their permission to call them. They're advertising their cell phone or their business line on their truck. And you can call them on the weekend and they will answer and you will be surprised. No gatekeeper, right? Isn't that easy? You'll be surprised that you're talking to the business owner. That was very simple because you took these pictures and you went out and you just said, okay, just write down the list. And Saturday, they're there. And they had one of the best days. This Saturday was one of the best. I had to send an email to my team and said, please just send your agents. If you got a team, send them out, go do the pictures, do that stuff. And if they only have 1 day a week to work, part-time, right? He's got a full-time job. Hey, you want to work 1 day a week and earn a living here at DAC? Pretty simple. Call businesses on a Saturday after you've gone out and prospected. It's so simple. So this is a formula I'm going to implement, Wade, with just the team, for these folks. Hey, you work 1 day a week. Saturday is the day to call them. I do know why, because for all the aforementioned reasons, their mindset, they're receptive to listen to you because they're not distracted. And additionally, the bonus is, guess what they're thinking about generally? About next week, how they're going to get the money they need for this A, B, and C. It is the time to call businesses, guys. Saturday between 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. is my cutoff. You got people that's a time, that's a sweet spot. So, and it's like, well, I can only work, late at night. Well, guess what? Hawaii, West Coast, they're in a different time zone. So there's no excuses. You can, pick your time zone, go. I mean, of course, you can't, go to a Home Depot in Hawaii if you're in New Jersey, but you can certainly go online and look up construction companies in Honolulu. So I'm just throwing it out there. There's no excuses. And Saturday's the best day. So give it a shot. Works for me.
Great, Matt. Thank you so much. I appreciate all the input that you have, and it's always very, very helpful and true.
All right, we got one more question. I know I messed this up last time. Is it Mickey or Mickey, right? You can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Exactly right, Tyler. Yes. Mickey like Mickey Mouse.
Sorry, I was trying real hard, I promise. I remember you. I just couldn't remember how to say it. I'm sorry.
No problem. First I wanted to say thank you, Wade, because I was feeling like last night, like, oh, I don't know how to do this. It's like it's not happening or what have you. And so this is like exactly what I needed to hear. And I have some new team members as well. And so hoping they're on, but I want to make sure they get the replay of this as well. So this was really good. And then what Matt, what Matt added on, I'm wondering if he could give us maybe a sample of what that conversation sounds like from him doing it, calling the
Well,
people that he met.
I can tell you that if you look in the Agent Resource Center,
Mhm.
they've got all that in there. The script is what Matt uses that script great. He just adds a couple of things to it. If he wants to jump back on, that's great. And he can tell you, but that meet, greet, and inform script that like
Mhm.
I just did,
Yeah.
he pretty much does. He goes into a little bit deeper, whether that's his first or second conversation. So he's a pro. So what I'll do is I'll probably work with Matt over the next week and get him to come on and put all your people on next week, and we'll just do a series on meet, greet, and inform. How about that?
Awesome.
And starting next week, I'm going to have a stump the expert question session. So everybody think of a question in funding, especially that you think that every week that you think that there's just, let's see if we can stump and give me any kind of, whether it's bizarre or just mainly questions that you hear all the time. And you just say, I just don't know how to overcome that.
Great.
Thank you, Mickey.
Thank you. And actually,
Mickey.
can I ask Tyler a
Oh,
question?
sorry. Yeah, I'm here. Go ahead.
There was a kind of, I guess, sheet that we could put our tracking of who we contacted that day on. I remember David holding it up a couple times, but I don't know where to find it.
Yep. So there's a couple different ones that it could have been. Was it relating to payment processing?
I'm honestly not sure.
Or yeah, I know we've got a couple different ones. I know the most recent one we have is under payment processing. If you
Okay.
go on the Agent Resource Center and you go
Mhm.
to the business financial payment processing,
Okay.
it's actually, I believe, at the bottom of the merchant processing training. It's the last page, so you can just print out that final page, the
Okay.
13th page, and it has a little list. We also have one under the I think it's under the business funding training. If you go under the business funding training, I believe, or no, I'm sorry, I apologize. It's actually under the team building. We have another one called building a foundation. There's another sheet on there that's pretty good for tracking. It's basically, just a list with a
Mhm.
name, email, phone number, and you can circle one, stuff like that. So both
Okay.
of those have nice lead sheets on them, or not necessarily lead sheet, but you know what I mean, for
Mhm.
tracking. But I also wanted to make a comment that so we didn't live stream this meeting, but I'm going to be uploading this meeting once it's done processing. So
Okay.
since it's recorded, once it's done processing, it'll get uploaded. So it'll probably be uploaded by 12:30, just because I know you
Oh,
said you wanted to share it with your team.
yes. Great. Thank you so much. You guys have a great day, everyone.
You too, Mickey. Well, I guess that's it. We got no more questions. And listen, think about seriously about what I just spoke about, and make a list, and let's talk about that list next Wednesday of those 11 groups, whether influencers or CPAs, accountants, and all and what have you. And let's figure out a way that you can get them interested, and then get me on the phone with them. And I'm not interested in actually doing the work for you. And in other words, I'm not going to take a cold call, but if someone's truly interested and they want to know what the next steps are, I'll be glad to talk to them with you. And I think we got one more, Christine, or either
Yes,
Christina,
we
one.
do. Christine, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Okay, can you hear me?
We can.
Okay. I have a question on gig funding. Um, there are at least every afternoon now for the past 3 months in my downtown area are a bunch of Grubhub delivery drivers, food delivery drivers. Most of them immigrants, and they all have regular brand new bicycles, electric bicycles, motorcycles. They're all souped up. They have everything they need. Does that mean that they've already received funding because they just showed up in our downtown this summer?
No, that doesn't mean that at all. It means they got an investment that they made. As long as they're doing 3,000 and commissions, they don't even have to have a business name if they're doing 3,000 in commissions, as long as it's coming into their bank account as commissions, and I mean, they could be a babysitter for all that, but they could be going by their own personal name. We can get them funded. So, yeah, I think that would probably be something. I mean, I'd definitely stop and talk to them. Maybe it's a franchise of some sort. Obviously, it probably is, man, and they're doing this all over the country. Who knows? But maybe it's just a local entrepreneur. But even if they're franchise, they're responsible for all the costs. So, hey, I'd get something in their hands to look at. Did that help?
Okay. Yes. And then one other question about over at Home Depot. There seems to be more business owners with their trucks there than in downtown. Because a lot of the downtown trucks, they're more employees driving the cars, but in Home Depot, since there seems to be more business owners there, would it be sufficient if I left my flyer on their windshield, or just wait for that meet and greet?
Oh, listen, I would do both, but at the very least, I'd leave the flyer on the windshield.
Okay, I'm new to this, so I just don't want to aggravate Home Depot's any of their customers.
Yeah, I
And
mean, yeah, I understand exactly what you're saying, but hey, I don't see anything wrong with sticking a card, one of the larger postcards in their windshield.
Okay, and then last week when I was in Home Depot, their security guard came over to me in the parking lot. And he just said, "Oh, well, ma'am, our policy," and then said, "Oh, there are cameras everywhere. I don't think you're allowed to do this." So he said, come inside to speak to the store manager and see if you can get permission. So we went inside. I spoke with the store manager, with the security guard. The store manager said, "No problem. As I can be in the parking lot, no problem, just not at the front doors or in the store trying to, disturb their customers." So at this way, the two security guards now also knew it was okay for me to show up or anybody again to do this. So I mention this because if any other people go to Home Depot and security guards approach them, they really don't know what the store policy is. They just know there are cameras and I'm a security guard.
Yeah, I don't ever see security guards in the parking lot. I go there all the time, but if you run into it, I mean, that's a great way to handle it the way you did. And hey, they don't care if you put flyers on. I get flyers on mine all the time when I go to Walmart or someplace like that for something.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
We have one more question, Wade. Norma, you can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Good morning,
Christine.
everyone. Thank you so much, Wade and Matt, for all the great input and everybody else for all the great questions. Christine mentioned the word immigrants, but I don't know if she actually meant to ask anything about that. So it's actually something that I'd be interested in knowing as well, because for me, foreign nationals and whether they have a permit or a work permit, I think maybe that was part of the question that she was going to ask but didn't. That's going to be my first question as to why that was mentioned. What question did she have specifically that can help the rest of us understand who can get funding? And the second question I wanted to ask or add to, like, the Home Depot, I think that's just gonna, be like case by case basis. It's gonna be very different for every single individual wherever they're going. And the third one is the training materials. I wanted to know if we are looking to if we're looking to maybe update some of the collateral that's already in there that is a couple of years old.
I think that would be in the collateral. Well, before I turn it over to Tyler to answer the collateral side of it, let me tell you, to get funding with our lender base, you either got to be a U.S. citizen with a passport, or you got to have a U.S. permanent residency card.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for answering that question.
No problem.
And
Tyler can
to
answer
chime
the rest.
in. Yep. So we've got a lot of big things coming in terms of training, new collateral and stuff. I can't really set a date on when it's coming, but I can tell you that we're actually meeting after this call. Me, David, and McGuire, we're all getting together, and we're putting it all up on the board, and we're just going to go through the list and start checking things off that list. So we've got a lot of good things coming. New marketing collateral, new training, all types of fun stuff. So it'll be coming very soon in the near future. So just look forward to it.
That's exciting. Thank you so much. Everybody have a beautiful day.
Thanks. I guess that wraps it up, guys. Thank you so much for being on here. I hope you have a blessed rest of the week. Think about the things that we talked about, and if you have questions about how to implement that, let's talk next week. Yeah.